Hey, Susanna. Hey, Benjamin.
Hi.
Good to see you. We're here to have a little talk about the water and the Terahertz wand. And do you want to, before we start, Susanna, do you want to introduce yourself? Just short.
Yeah, so let's see. Where do I start? I've done a lot of different things, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But what I can say that I've written books about water. I have a cookbook where I also write about the water. I have another book that's called Flow Food. And then I have a book called Holy Fucking Sacred Water. And that is about the consciousness of water and how everything is connected. So, and then I used to work as a senior lecturer at Nutrition and Health. So I studied a lot of water. I've studied a lot about nutrition and energy and how things work. So this is a topic that I'm very, very interested in. Yeah.
So you are really the go-to expert when we have questions about water.
No, I'm just a nerd.
Okay, and how about you, Benjamin?
Yeah, thank you, Gaia. Well, let's say it like this. I've done a whole lot of stuff in my life, but not so much around water. I've always been very interested in consciousness and how we actually are creating the universe around us. And my own experience, I guess, is how I changed using water after I started to structure it or after I started to use the ITeraCare. I've always known what Susanna is talking about, the memories of the water and so on, but it hasn't been important to me. And at the same time, when I started to use the ITeraCare that we are here to talk about today, my water consumption just changed, and not from me deciding it, just from my body wanting it. Yeah.
I think that for me, it's quite a lot the same thing. I noticed something with my body changed which really surprised me. I work as a holistic therapist, meaning that I work equally with the mind and the body, and I'm a great lover and admirer of what bodies actually are and what they actually contain and what they can do for us, and the kind of wisdom that's held in bodies. And for me, it was absolutely fascinating to experience not only the staff, the wand, what it can do, but just the water.
Yeah.
Like what we're going to talk about today. And one of the reasons that we're making this little movie is because we get different inputs on how to use the wand with the water, and how to subsequently treat the water. And there's a lot of do's and don'ts, but they're not all consistent, even if they're all coming from quite some experts. So I just thought, well, let's hear what have you done with your wand, and I'm sure you both had a lot of success with it.
Yeah. Would you like to start, Sana?
No, you start.
So,
Men first.
Yeah, thank you. So in the beginning, I was following the guidelines, and that's like you take 1 minute for a quite, a big glass, and then 5 minutes for maybe 2 liters or something. And at home, I have this big glass jar. It contains up to 8 liters or so of water. And I was blowing that. I was using the device to charge that water for about 15 to 20 minutes. And yeah, because my beliefs and my ego structure and how I'm built, like the more the merrier, the more the better. So okay, it's gone 20 minutes. Yeah, let's give it 5 extra just to be sure. I was really there in the beginning, and I went. I did that for maybe 2 months or so, and I was drinking up to these eight normal cups of coffee a day, and I was feeling tired most of the time, and drinking maybe maximum, not even that much, maximum half a liter to 1 liter of water per day, and that was on the good days. And just by starting to drink this water, I'm now easily drinking up to 3 liters. And like I said in the introduction, it's not something I have to think about. It's something that I want to. And I'm quite of a nerd in that way. I take the water with me instead of drinking normal tap water, because I feel the difference. It's like the taste is different, the structure is different, and my body feels different. And
so you started out with warming it up to 20 minutes. What is that? You continued with that or what?
Not I mean, like if it was just a one glass, I was just charging it for 1 minute. But this volume of water, I was going for 15-20 minutes. And then someone said to me, "You're overcharging. You don't need all that." I don't know. She's giggling there. And of course, I don't know that. Then I just had to, I went back to old knowledge and something I've read about before. And of course, it had to do with my trust and my belief system, because I don't need all that time. And I can feel I'm just charging it 1 minute now, and it's the same effect. I still crave the water. I'm still drinking a lot of it. Yeah. So it has the same effect.
So you charge the whole bowl. I have the same for 9 liters, and you charge it for 1 minute.
1 minute. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not sleepy. I'm not tired. I'm not having energy dips during the day as I used to. I was always, coffee down, coffee down. And I guess, since I'm drinking more water, I'm feeling full, and I'm changing how I'm eating, and that's happening by itself, organically. It's not like now I'm only going to focus on this. And, I've lost a lot of myself since I started drinking this water.
What do you mean you lost a lot of yourself? You lost weight, or what did you?
Yes, I lost a lot of weight since.
You lost weight.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like you lost your mind.
Oh no, just the extra handles.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. You want to go on, Sanna?
Yeah, I can continue because I started off also wanting a bit longer because I was following the directions, and then someone said, I think it was John Scabola or something, that said, you only need to do it 1 minute. And I'm like, oh, finally, that makes sense. And the reason why it makes sense is because we have a quantum field. And yes, you need longer time for greater volumes if you only look from the terahertz perspective. But if you then add the quantum field, which means that everything happens here and now in an instant. So then it penetrates directly. So you don't need the time because it's beyond time and space. And that's what I think it confuses people, because they only look at things from one perspective. Yeah. Because from that perspective, if you look at that 3D and terahertz scientific in that, then that is true that you need more time. But if you then look from a quantum perspective, you actually would just need seconds. So again, this comes down to what are my beliefs, what feels true to me, because that is what will happen. That will be the truth. So if you just want for 1 minute, but your belief, you don't believe in the quantum, then you won't have the same effect. So it's very, very important to be honest with yourself of where your beliefs are. And I think that is the key to all of this, is to really feel like what feels most logical or makes sense to me and my reality. And then that will change over time, because the more you actually peel off these beliefs and come closer to your true self and who you really are, the more you activate your DNA, your stem cells, all of that. But there's and this is not only for the water, this goes for anything in life.
It's very interesting, because the more, like, I'm still very new to the ITera. I think I've had it for a month or something, but it really is the world that is unfolding in front of my eyes is something about how what an upgrade this is, not just for my body, on the cellular structure, but as you say, Sanna, it's also it does affect our consciousness also quite a lot. Like what I experienced was a little bit like you, Benjamin. Like very quickly, my body didn't want the usual beverages that it had wanted before. I was really surprised that the first day my body didn't never completely forgot about the coffee. No, I was kind of really, I want good coffee, but it did forgot all about the coffee. It hasn't asked for a beer or, normally I like to have a beer with my food in the evening. No, it only wanted the water or the tea made of the water. It basically wants that water all the time, and I was actually drinking a lot of that water in the beginning, as if I had been walking around in some kind of a desert my whole life and not ever really found proper water. It is as if this water is a little bit like wetter when you drink it. Like, it sounds crazy. How can water be more or less wet? But the thing, when you put it in, anybody who puts it in their mouth, they go, maybe you're right. It's somehow easier to drink it and to take it in.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there's like a scientific explanation of why that is. And I know a lot of people who start to, not just with the IteraCare, but start to structure the water, and they who never drank a lot of water, but it's like they feel that it's like the body wants it, so it's easy to drink, and it becomes much more softer and smoother and wetter. And it has to do with the clustering of the water molecules. So if you just take tap water, the way it's almost like they cluster together, each molecule, so they like just like a big bunch, and up to maybe between 200 and 500 water molecules. And how is this cluster this big be able to penetrate a cell that's this small? Yeah. Now I'm enlarging it, of course. But what happens when you, first of all, if you structure it, then it clusters in much smaller clusters, maybe between 2 and 5. And this is like a living being, so that it shifts all the time. And that a structuring is basically when water naturally spirals, like down the mountains or in creeks or whatever, and then it makes these little swirls. That's what the natural structuring out in nature. And that also clears out a lot of the memory from the water and consciousness from the water, that it doesn't hold the same type of heavy frequencies, basically. And then with IteraCare, it start to string like pearls on a chain. So it very easy for that to just penetrate into our cells. It goes through the cell membrane, and that is often way too hard. So it can't, even when we take supplements, it can't move through, because the cell membrane today is so like, it's like a tennis ball, and so it doesn't, it just goes back out. Now that it's just like it goes in, and it's like, and it can enter the core, the center, where also our DNA is, where keep it simple. So that's why it's easy to drink. And if you then look at what happens with water, if you take tap water, there's a lot of information. Water can hold a lot of information. So we bring in the consciousness from all around us. Even if it's so-called clean from pollution, it's not clean, because it holds the memory and information for everything and everyone it's been in contact with. Because you can artificially clean water, but it's not clean, it still holds the memory.
Yeah.
So when you filter and everything. So basically, the moment you go just like to the nerd level that we do at home, we distill the water. Either you can do it with a distiller, basically boiling the water, and you use the what's it called, steam that becomes water molecule. Then it's basically you kill the water, it's dead, you remove everything from it, all the memory, all the information, and it's dead.
I always thought of what that would not be so beneficial.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. And it's not, but it's like you start on as a clean slate, basically. And then you add minerals, which could be like Himalaya salt or something. Preferably that you take a large clump, like a big chunk of, and you dissolve it in water. So, and then you use that, because then it holds, it has a higher frequency than, but if you don't have that, like a big lump of Himalaya salt, you can just do, sea salt or other. So it's not, then there's a lot of other minerals things you can use, but you need to add minerals, because if it doesn't have minerals, you can't structure it. The minerals, and then stirring, like there's different ways to do it, even just with a spoon, like a copper spoon or silver spoon or something. Then you add those frequencies into the water, and then you make it alive again. So what we then have done, is to then we wand it again, not
when you say wand it, that means you're shining you're blowing the heat and the frequency onto the water.
Exactly, because then we charge it with the terahertz frequencies.
Yes.
The terahertz frequencies are the frequencies of a healthy cell. So basically we tell the water, hey, we're healthy, and so it's so when we drink it, it helps us eliminate and clear out everything that stands in the way for us to be just healthy, and that goes emotionally and physically and also connection to the higher selves or source or God or whatever people call it, because it's everything that the pollution and programs and everything is cleared out.
Yeah, and like for somebody like me, who's a bit of a housewife and new to this, I might not be ready to have such an advanced setup for my water as you, so I've resorted to something maybe a little bit more simple. But it still feels a lot better. I'm sure I don't get quite the quality that you get, but I get something that seems to work nicely. And this is like I've been using a normal, what they call it, a Brita filter, I think, or something. Something where a jug with a charcoal filter that you can get it for maybe $20 in a health food shop or something like that. And then I have this little stick here, which looks like a pencil. But you can't write with it. It's called a grander stick, and I don't know if anybody's heard about grander water. Then you could look it up. And this stick here, it does something. If you just let the water pass over the stick, or you put it under the faucet, and then you draw the water across the stick into your jug, it's already totally upgraded the water for you, like really a lot. There's quite a lot of testimonials about how well it works for plants and animals and people. So then I have already filtered grander water, which is what I've been using for a long time.
Yeah.
But it didn't really reach the quality that I get if I also work on this water with the terahertz. And it's funny, because when I work on the water with the terahertz, I have the same kind of round bowl for the water. I think like you mentioned, Benjamin, and I try to when I blow on the water with the terahertz, which is this one here. then I try to hit a little bit of air onto the surface of the water to make the water swirl. And the funny thing is that it actually looks like the water is swirling even if I don't blow directly on the water, just if I blow on the side of the glass, then it looks like the water is actually starting to swirl, which looks like a very healthy process for the water. Like you talk about, like the water is running down the hillside and that gets it structured.
Exactly. And I think that the grander stick is also changing how the molecules come together, so even getting in contact with that, because probably the grander stick is structured in itself. Everything contains water, all materials, like even a rock contains water molecules.
Yeah.
So when you change something's frequency, it's the water molecules we change. So in a way, some people say that consciousness and water is the same thing. So and we are 70-80% water, it's like between 50 and so I usually make the joke is I didn't make it up myself, but it's one of my favorite quotes, is that we are basically cucumbers with anxiety.
Yes.
So but the point being, like, I use yes, we have gone, because it was like we love this, and to both me and my husband are total nerds when want to experiment all the time, to like how to take this to the next level type of thing. And but what I've done for my mom is I've given her our old Berkey filter. So Berkey is one of the best filters that on a grander scale that you can use. A Berkey filter is also charcoal filters. They use it for a lot of NGOs, like to take in Africa and things, they take the water and just filter, and it's drinkable. So because it doesn't need to be tapped into something, so you can bring it with you.
That's great. Maybe we can talk a little bit about how to handle the water once it has what we call wanded, as like once it has been. So I have my water in this glass bottle. I'm not really sure that's the best kind. I'm sure you're much more advanced than I am, but at least it's a glass bottle and not a plastic bottle.
Yep.
What do you do with your Benjamin?
I keep mine in a glass container always. So either a jar or jug or something that is always glass.
Always glass.
The recommendations that come with the IteraCare is that you always charge it in glass and never charge it in metal or plastic, because you're getting that into the water.
Okay, and, so you can't even use stainless steel.
Not to charge it in, no.
Not to charge, but you can keep the water in stainless steel,
That's
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Of course, you could add it in a plastic bottle, but we all know that plastic is leaching chemicals all the time. But that's a choice. I mean, we have plastic all around us as we live in modern times. So, but I keep it in glass at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also do clay.
Yeah.
Clay works, but keep it natural, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm such a hygiene freak. I don't like to keep my water in containers where I can't see how clean they are.
Yeah, but basically, but if you if you want the nerdy version, if we also have whatever glass bottles and everything, but like the optimal shape is egg-shaped.
That's what you say there.
Yeah, so you can, for instance, and there's a difference if the egg shape is going down, because then it's the masculine energy. So and that creates a natural structure. So if you keep it like was it 8 hours? It will be naturally structured just by being in that egg-shaped glass or clay container. If it's the round thing down, then it's more like the feminine energy. So it all depends also how your own balance is, you know, you know, but that's a super.
You're really a fountain of wisdom of this water, Susanna. It's amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
But how long did it keep it? Like now I wanted my water here yesterday. And then somewhere I read that it only keeps 24 hours. Like fine, like I just wanted this water, but I was wondering if I could maybe now it's been 24 hours this water, and do I really have to? What do I do with it then? What I thought I could do maybe was just to charge it back up again by holding the wand for a few seconds, and then it will be charged up. But and again, what we can discuss is I can also just say, hey water, why don't you just charge back up again? Because I would really like you to do that. Thank you very much. You did that for me.
I'm very glad that you brought that up, Gaia, because our intention, you know, we can imprint whatever we want into the water. And I'm privileged growing up in Iceland, and I was out on the countryside, and you know, I was drinking from the springs, and there are, of course, now I'm living in Sweden, there are lots of natural springs, but the water just tastes different. You can just feel the liveliness in it. And of course, the first reaction is, oh my God, that is so good. That's so good. So I'm telling the water that it's so good, and I'm bringing that into my body at the same time. Yes. And I was doing that without knowing it as a child, like, oh, so good. And the body is like, wow, this is so good. And of course, I feel great.
Absolutely.
And there are many experiments out there. You know, you can just Google it, the rice experiment, where you say something mean to one glass of rice, and you say something kind like I love you to another glass of rice, and then you ignore the third one. And people are trying these experiments now again and again. You can do it at home, and there's such a difference in levels of how the rice contain itself in, like, I think it's a month. So just talking to your waters while you're wanting it, or you don't even need the wand. That's just you know, you don't even need that. So if you just talk to your water, thank you, I love you, and then you drink it, you're bringing that into your whole body, into your being. So it just depends on what do you want to do. And also, like you said in the beginning, Sanna, you know, it depends on your belief system. If you don't believe in that, it doesn't work for you. So then you can, the frequency of the wand, it's the same as healthy cells in your body. There are tests, you know, it's all been measured. You know, the music of the body, the music of the wand, it's all been tested, scientifically proven. And then you can, if you feel that you can trust that, you will feel the difference, you will feel the taste. And your body is the best response. So just go and give it a try, I would say.
Yeah.
And you've had a lot of great success in wanting and working with your body, Sanna, also. Like I think we all have, but yours is kind of very astonishing. And maybe you can talk a little bit about what state were you in when you used the wand?
Well, you know, my health has been
bringing the wand straight to the body and working with it.
My body has been like pretty messed up the last decade or so, but so I use but just before we go into that, I really want to say also, with coming back to your question about the structured water, actually when how long the structure will hold, it can hold forever in a quantum field if it's in a healthy environment. The issues today are most likely the environment is not that healthy. So basically, if you have the glass of water, or you know, you hold it and it's next to computer, there's Wi-Fi in your house, there's those radiation or smart meters, all of that will ruin the cluster and the frequencies of the water. So yes, then I would recharge it.
Yeah.
You don't need to throw it out or anything, but you would recharge it in either with the wand or something. And also to it's no wonder we get so sick, and this ties into what I've experienced because of all the radiation around us from the masts and phones and Wi-Fi and everything. Like I couldn't go outside because I'm EMF sensitive. If you look that we are so much water and we hold a lot of information, when we are bombarded, bodies, and I'm like, I'm super sensitive. I can't take chemicals, like I can't even take an aspirin because I get side effects from that. It's like I'm that sensitive to everything that is unnatural, meaning that my system gets really, really bombarded. So my immune system have been crappy. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia more than a decade ago, or I was diagnosed a decade ago, but was sick for many, many years before that. EMF sensitivity, like the electromagnetic frequency, like allergy type of thing. Had issues with my eye and things. And it brings your energy down. It's very difficult to hold yourself and be happy when you're in a lot of pain a lot of time.
Sure. So how did you work with the wand?
So I was drinking my water and I was wanding myself between 20 to 50 minutes a day. I used a lot on my feet with like reflexology type. Because I can't wander my eyes.
I'm like curious about what kind of mindset did you hold while you were wanding?
What type of what?
Were you consciously choosing a specific mindset for?
Well,
like, were you going into gratitude before you started wanding, or were you visualizing yourself being healthy? What kind of mindset did you hold for your processing?
Already we lived in Costa Rica we moved there in 14, and there, because also I've heard that the energy from like the heat and also staying by the ocean, because it's negative ions, which also the wand has, same thing. So basically, you can see the wanding as like you laying on the beach, like you get the vitamin D's, you get the sun, and you also get like the negative ions from the ocean. So, but my point was that was one of the reasons I was suffering so much here. So when we moved there, but I still was in pain, because you can't escape yourself, like you need to work on at the inner parts of yourself. So I started to work with my mindset as well. And I started to, every time I was in pain, I was thinking, ooh, I'm healing. I have a healing day today. Oh my God, I'm shifting and upgrading and, using different words for it.
Brilliant.
And that shifted a lot. So I've been more or less symptom free for long periods for 7 years. And then especially this time of year now, it's November, it's gray, it's rainy, it's crappy, boring weather. And then usually when it goes below 10 degrees Celsius, then, I start to feel an ache and things. So I woke up in October, just when one of the few days I've started with my wand, and with a lot of pain. I wanded, it went into half in 20 minutes. And the next day was a little bit higher again, but it wasn't as bad as the first day. Usually this will be like, I would be in pain for like weeks. That's like the normal. I just like have to adjust to, oh, okay, now I will have a period of that.
Benjamin,
next
do you
day,
have some
next day I did.
suggestions for how to hold the mindset by wanding?
Yeah,
When
so
we talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
without working in the quantum field,
yeah.
you know,
But
like,
so, but that's the thing.
yeah,
I trust that this will help me. Also, because it's like I'm quite as like an, you know, also scientific. It's like I had 2 master degrees. I'm quite an academic, nerdy person. Look into research. So then that helps me believe, because it makes sense from a scientific point of view why it should work.
yeah.
Then it's quite easy to, it's like, oh, so now I'm going to wand, and next day, second day was gone. So, and I haven't had pain since. So in 2 days, over like a decade of on and off in pain was gone.
So you,
And,
so
you know, I don't know
you,
if it will come back. I can't, you know, we just like month 2 now, so I don't know, but so far so good.
So you kind of leaned up against the fact that you had some facts about it, like you could say it's more like for the masculine mindset,
Yeah.
that you have some scientific facts, and then you had the feminine trust.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
Yeah. So it just to say that for it's when something makes sense and it's like
Yeah.
From like what everything I know, everything my experience, what I've read, this makes sense, and then it's very, very easy to believe that. So sometimes if we struggle to believe and just like believe that the water, you know, can change us, or, you know, the rice, if I have those thoughts, can change and everything, we need to satisfy that by doing our research. So it you know, find out instead of just dismiss it. Stay curious, stay open.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does this work? You know, be curious. It's one of the things that you dumb down, and that goes to with the third eye. The creativity and curiosity is all about in the frontal lobe of your brain, and the survival is in the reptile brain or the cerebellum. So there's also, it's like how we reactivate our brain. This is total science. It's not even, you know, a concept. This is very down to earth what happens, and for those who need that's other people, they just go with their intuition and it's just ooh. And I used that when I bought my wand. Yeah. When my friend, she told me about it, and I wrote to Benjamin, why haven't you told me about this? And I just got it because I intuitively felt this is huge. I want one. Yes.
And you, Benjamin, what have you been using? What have you been how have you been holding your mindset? What has worked for you?
Good question. I'll start with how I got my first wand, and that's through I call her my mentor. You know, we have been on a journey together, and a person that I trust, and I had been using a different frequency device and got a great result with that because I had a lot of pain, but in the end it was just lying in my drawer. It was just lying in my, you know, I wasn't using it. And she comes back to me, my friend Kathy, and says, you should try this. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. Nope, nope, nope. It took me like many no's before she just, okay, I'm gonna send you one. So she actually sent me one. Yeah. I was stubborn as a goat, you know, not gonna do anything new again. Because
like these Iceland horses.
Exactly, but I love gadgets. And frequency is something that makes perfect sense to me. It's like everything comes from consciousness, from the quantum field. Everything is first frequency before it becomes body, or you can talk vitamins, you can say whatever, it's first frequency. So it makes a lot of sense. And the day that I got it, or the day after, I've got a migraine. And I don't get them often, like maybe once, maximum 2 times a year. But okay, I had the one, so I tried it, put it on the pillow, it was blowing on my head, and in 10-15 minutes, it was gone.
What? Your migraine?
Yes, it was gone, and I didn't take any medications or anything. So for me, that was like, okay. And I didn't have to go into the science stuff. I knew nothing about terahertz. I knew nothing about how it did work or so on, but it just always felt really good to me. And I feel today it feels really good when I blow myself. You know, people say it's almost like a hair dryer. Yeah, but it's still different. I just feel the air is different. There's something different there, and I can't put my finger on it. And now we're talking about the quantum field. So the way that I'm thinking while I'm wanding myself, that plays a role. And in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm going to be positive. But I'm actually not positive now. I'm just thinking about this and that. And so now I don't even try to control it. It's more like, okay, this is my meditation, and whatever comes up, that's okay. Because that needs to be allowed to come up and to go out. So yeah, it's important, you know, not go like, oh, it doesn't work, or I'm in so much pain, Okay, then yourselves will be like, okay, I need to be in pain. Thank you. I know. I'll keep on being in pain. But now I just love the feel of it, and I know because also just the other week or the last weekend, I started to get this migraine again. And I was wanting my back and so on. That didn't really help. So I started to want my throat here, started to want the back of my head. Okay, it brought it down, the intensity, but it didn't go away. And then, okay, my feet have been cold the whole day. Cold feet all day. Okay, I'll blow my feet. And wow, voila, that was it. Then the migraines went away. And that's what, like Susanna said, you know, we have all our organs are connected to our hands and feet. It's nothing new. It's been known for thousands of years, right? But for me, it was the experience of just, it melted away.
Yeah.
Wow. And I have a friend, he injured himself. He doesn't believe in frequency, but he really enjoyed the heat. That, you know, that for him, that was perfect. Because it really makes you heat up your body from the outside in, and so for that is working for him. I love the heat. I'm from Iceland. I'm cold. I need the extra warmth, So I love the heat and the effect. I've lost about 10 to 15 kilos since I started wanting myself. Yeah, my body just releasing.
And you still eat pizza.
I still eat pizza. Yes, I still do all these things. But and I've worked a lot of my emotions and my mentality. That's been my journey through life. Not just going the straight path as so many others. And sadly, that's just been my journey. That I feel often when the darkness comes, I get like autumn depression.
Yeah.
And it's actually it has had a big effect in my life, because every summer I'm like really vital, really alive, and then the autumn comes and I go, oh no. So it's been cycles like that. Mm-hmm. And now it's almost we're soon into December, and I'm still like it's spring. For me, that's
impressive, huh?
It's impressive, especially coming from my background. I've done so much transformational work with my emotions, and still it's been that way. And now it's not. So for me, that's a huge difference.
It's nice to see when something simply works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Makes it a lot of fun to work with it. Is there something we haven't covered? Like we've gone over a few things. Is there something we haven't covered for people who are kind of new with the stick and how they go about wanting their water? And
I would say that you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong if you start to want your water. That's an upgrade. That's better than not doing it. You can always improve the quality of your water, but if you're living in an area that is not chemically, I live in Sweden. There's no fluoride. There's nothing in the water here. So I'm putting my tap water into this jar. I put the high heat and blow on the side.
Yep.
And what that creates is a current. So all the water is getting charged because it's the heat difference you know, up and down, swirling. These wonderful English words.
Nice. Yeah, swirling.
Yeah, and that's, I keep it simple as that.
Yeah, I agree that that's the main thing, isn't it? That you can't screw this up. You know, and this, you know, the wand is like this magic wand, and you know, you can experiment, and we, you know, we use it in different ways all the time, and there, you know, only our imagination puts limits to it. Use it to water our plants, or, you know, but it's just stay curious and open about it, and see what is possible, because we believe that everything is possible. So it's do it in your way. You know, you don't have to go all nerdy that I do, and, you know, go into all the science, and it's because it's like that's what I enjoy, and I think I love that. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't work if you don't. So it you know, it's important to follow your own, you know, what passion and interests and around it. It's like I know, like my people in my family, they don't know anything about it. They just know it simply works, and they're super happy about it.
Yeah.
And so it's you know, don't feel intimidated just because I'm a nerd.
So
You don't need to go so extreme.
So even a housewife from Alling in Bornholm like me can upgrade my water.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and your body and your plants and your
everything.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Have
that's
fun.
great.
Play.
Yeah.
Don't take life so seriously.
So if anybody out there would like to get hold of a wand, what we do recommend is that if somebody showed you this movie, or you tried their wand or something, it's nice you come back to them and make requests about getting your wand. And if that's not a possibility for you or the case for you, you can connect with one of us, and we'll see that you get your wand shipped as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and we'll put the links below that you might want to have after listening to this, and feel free to ask your questions, because then we know what more we can talk about in these kind of videos.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Definitely. It was fun as always. I'm
Fun as
enjoying
always to hang
these.
out.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. We'll do more of this. It's fun.
Yeah. Thank you.